Hi, everybody. Welcome to your Colorado Home Advocate Report with your Colorado Home Advocate, Don Betts. How are you today, Don?
Good, really good.
So we got to talk about instability. We got to talk about war. We got to talk about all these things that are coming out in the past week. And next week, we're going to talk about appraisals and everything else and escalation of the market. First, we were just talking about this. So about a week or so ago, you were talking about the market showing signs of being flat. Now we're showing steady increases again. So let's start right there. What are you seeing in the market data for Colorado?
Yeah, well, we had essentially a fairly flat market since the middle of summer through January, as far as average and median prices for all property types, all price ranges. The February data is in, and we've had, the standard, uptick for early spring, and so prices are now back going up in Denver Metro, and but at the same time, we are down to 2,400 and change average total active listings. That is like almost nothing. The same time last year, when the inventory was low, we had over 6,000. So we're from 1 year ago, we're at 1/3 of the inventory. So that is totally driving this market. There's just buyers that have to buy are overbidding.
Yeah. And the question is, who are those buyers, right? Which brings up my point for today. We now have a war. We now see that gold prices are coming down. We see Bitcoin going on a roller coaster. These are investment driven things. We know that depending on where we're talking about in Colorado, 50 to 60% of this market is driven by investors. And we talked about this just a day or so ago, 6 to 7% of investors getting out of the market will increase the inventory overall. I'm just trying to get your perspective of, how do you feel about the market volatility? Like when you talk to someone of, hey, I'm on the fence, I don't know, I feel like waiting, et cetera, especially with all these factors in play. What's your perspective?
Well, I get 2-3 calls a day from investors or text, I need a property. I need property. So the flippers are still out there. I have 2 listings right now. One is being purchased by an investor. The other is going to, move into the home, but they're not going to sell their existing condominium. They're going to turn it into a rental. So they've become an investor. So both of my listings right now are investors, and so that trend continues.
And I think the point to that is, how long are the investors going to stay in this market, especially with the volatility of the markets? And then we were talking about this yesterday, the Zillow thing, the largest real estate investor that was out there in November, which was deemed by the media as being a poorly run company that had no idea of what they were doing when they sold off all their Arizona properties first and subsequently the rest of the country, sold everything at rock bottom prices after overpaying and over evaluating. The Core Logic report that came out just yesterday stated basically and definitively, right, Arizona's going to lose money this year. Were you surprised at seeing Core Logic and Case Shiller actually backing up what Zillow did?
Yes, yes, I was, and I'm anxious to see what happens in the next few months. I mean, that's especially in those markets where they were so active, and they were active here in Denver Metro. I think we're just a little bit behind that curve.
Yeah, I suspect that you've got more of a flat period ahead of you as compared to an Arizona or a Las Vegas or a San Diego, where it's going to be a sharper curve. And I think the point, if you're watching this video going, well, what does war have to do with this? What does gold prices or oil prices have to do with it? Well, it's really simple. You said there were 2,400 properties plus or minus?
Yeah, active listings.
Okay. And and a year ago it was at 6.
6,200 approximately.
All right. So let's just hypothetically say over the next 90 days with defaulted people and everything else that's going on, 4,000 or 5,000 new listings coming online to an already 2,000 or 3,000 base. Would that have an effect on the prices?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. And that's the bottom line. And that's what we're trying to convey in a very simplistic form to all of you in Colorado. If properties come online or investors sell 6% or people who haven't made payments start to get foreclosed upon and they start to list, it will have an impact on Colorado and your value of your home. And you could be losing out on equity that you have right now. What would you say to everybody about taking advantage of the equity with all of the volatility that's going on?
Well, act now because or certainly by summer, because we don't really know. Obviously, the war's only been going for 7 days now, approximately, and so what's the real impact of that? It could happen sooner than later, and so if you're thinking of selling, it's a good time.